You know, I don't think it's, I don't think it's any secret that SummerSlam right now, on paper, is not only looking to be like a very long event. It's not just that. I mean, right now you got 11 matches scheduled, with possibly 2, maybe 3 ending up on the pre-show, and that was my dog that just bumped into my tripod there. Perhaps maybe 2 or 3 scheduled for the pre-show. But all I can say is WWE needs to have a legitimate backup plan when it comes to their event this Sunday. I mean, not this Sunday, but a week from this Sunday. Because when you think about it, if you're going to go attend an event like SummerSlam, and you know that one of the marquee matchups, as far as you know, involves 2 of the very best in the ring, 2 TNA originals, being AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, battling for the WWE Championship, as well as you have a matchup for the SmackDown Women's title. Let me just adjust that there for a second. For the SmackDown Women's title involving Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Charlotte, as well as you have a Raw Women's Championship involving the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, as well as you have potentially other matches added on, like Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Nakamura, Hardy, which can also be a triple threat, the Bludgeon Brothers and the New Day, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Strowman and Owens, Balor and Corbin, Daniel and Miz, which a lot of people are looking forward to. You have all of these different. You have basically, when you look at this 11 match, if not 12 match structure here, you have basically a mixed bag, if you will. You have a mixed bag of, well, let's just say, like I'm saying, you have a mixed bag of talent, if not, well, I'll just put it this way. SummerSlam could either make or break the WWE this year. Hear me out. The possible closing match of the night is Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. And everybody knows that nobody wants to see this match ever again. And yes, they are doing what they can to make it interesting. Yes, they are doing what they can to get Roman to be cheered. But even with that said, let's be honest. That crowd in New York, Brooklyn, New York, that crowd, which will definitely, no doubt, 100% be a smart mark crowd, isn't going to buy what's going on right now. You can have fans cheering Roman all you want. You can have them cheering him. You can have them doing minimal pops. You can filter in cheers if you have to. But good luck trying to filter in those cheers come SummerSlam, because basically the moment he walks out, the moment people boo. And here's the thing. These smart marks, they may not want to see this match headline and close out the show. These smart marks will boo Roman, the cheer Lesnar. You see, SummerSlam 2018 is taking place just like previously in previous years in smart mark territory. I mean, you could probably get away with probably trying to close out SummerSlam if you had it basically, if you had it basically in Los Angeles or even Dallas or wherever, San Antonio, you could probably get away with it there. But we're talking New York City. We're talking New York State. We are talking smart mark country. This would be the equivalent if you went to Lincoln Field, did SummerSlam there in Philadelphia, and basically tried to close out that with this. It ain't going to work. Despite all your attempts, it's not going to work. And a lot of people are thinking a cash-in will be the best route. Here's the thing. If you're building up Braun Strowman losing via different means to different opponents, knowing that his contract's on the line against Kevin Owens at SummerSlam, then your best solution is to go with Kevin Owens, let him win the championship, and let him win the contract, and thus let him cash in on Roman. Just do a WrestleMania-like retake, but this time with Kevin Owens in the place of Seth Rollins. But whatever the case may be, WWE, they got to make sure they structure this right. The most logical conclusion when it comes to a match that should be closing out the show should be the Joe in style against Styles or Miz against Daniel. Those are the two that make the most sense. So WWE has to really be careful what they do here. They really do. WWE has to be extremely careful of how they structure this event, knowing they're going into smart mark territory again. And knowing no matter what they do before this, that New York crowd, that Brooklyn crowd, isn't going to be so easily persuaded. I'll give you an example. Already on Facebook group, some of the Facebook group pages, mostly the WWE Facebook page, where they put up clips, highlights, and all that, just like they do the YouTube page, they put up the clips of the highlights from Ronda Rousey's Raw debut, her in-ring Raw debut. And already you have people slamming her for the fact that she shouldn't be in the WWE. She shouldn't be where she's at. You already have people slamming her. And yet, WWE has done exactly what a lot of people feel they needed to do, and that's protect this woman. Present her in a way that you know she's going to be there, but don't. Basically, they're presenting her in a fact that balances things out. Like, they're presenting her in a way that she's willing to do what has to be done to, participate and be part of something like WWE. But they're not overdoing it with her. They're having her be there every week, even if it's just through promos, maybe to sign a contract for a match, whatever. But they're not over-saturating her, as far as an in-ring competitor, because they know she's still learning. And besides, I understand a lot of people don't like the fact that, suddenly she's going to be champion. I get that frustration, but here's the thing. Ronda Rousey is a marquee name. Fans, believe it or not, are doing for her what they used to do for Brock Lesnar, but WWE obviously, hopefully, has learned from the lesson, knowing that they're going to be able to use Ronda more so than Brock. But they know Ronda is a marquee name, and they know people will want to see her because they want to see the baddest woman on the planet beat the hell out of these women that some still consider being nothing more than divas that shouldn't be in the women's revolution. So yeah, you're still going to have people upset about the fact that Ronda Rousey's getting this opportunity. She's being shot to the top kind of deal. And like I said, I understand it. I completely get it. But what would you rather do? Have another Nia versus Alexa match? Is that what you want? I mean, I understand people are going to come out and say, well, why couldn't you put Sasha and Bayley in there? Think about it. Sasha and Bayley against Alexa. 3-way elimination. Alexa gets eliminated. We have a repeat of NXT Brooklyn from several years ago. Look, I get fans want something like that. I get it. It'd be nice. It would be nice to see something like that. But this is not the time nor the place. If WWE is so infatuated with doing this women's revolution to the point that they've given them their own pay-per-view at the end of October, you want to build hype for that. You want to build hype. You want to build prestige. You want to build interest. You want to, well, from a business standpoint, you want to market it right. You want to market it to the point that everybody will be willing to give it a chance. And they will tune in to see it. And the best way to do that is to have a marquee name presented as your champion. And in that case, it's Ronda Rousey. Now you might say, well, she could win it at the Clash of Champions next month. That's true. But think from a business standpoint, folks. WWE looks at the bigger picture. And they see SummerSlam as a bigger event than the Clash. So that's why it's happening probably here. Most likely here. And again, I understand people's frustrations. I mean, I get that there's no doubt Ronda's going to have a mixed reaction going into Brooklyn. I mean, it's not going to be like WrestleMania where you had a bipartisan crowd. You're going to have a crowd there that mostly will be on her side, there's no doubt, but you will have that vocal minority that will be against her. There's no doubt. I mean, the crowd will be mostly split, I would say 70-30, maybe 60-40. 60 in her favor, 40 and not. So I get that. And I'm sure Ronda realizes that too. The point is, I get how, the point is, SummerSlam, WWE needs to structure their event correctly. They need to make sure SummerSlam goes off without a hitch. They really do. They need to make sure that if they're going to finally give us something that is positive when it comes to the big four pay-per-views, they need to structure correctly. They need to put the matches they feel are worthy, that basically they need to put the matches that they feel are kickoff show matches on the kickoff show, and keep the matches that are going to electrify people, that are going to keep people, that are going to, how do I put this, that are going to basically keep the people's interest from beginning to end. And the best way you do that is you take your Cruiserweight Championship match, you don't put it on the pre-show, you put it on the main card. That's what you do. You put it on the main card and you go from there. You structure it to where you have, to where that match gets people off their feet, to maybe the next match continues the momentum, so on and so forth. Maybe you have a down period, but then you pick up as you get towards closing time. And the best matches to close out with is Daniel and The Miz, AJ and Joe, and I hate to say it, Lesnar and Reigns. No, matter of fact, screw that. You should have Lesnar and Reigns be basically the last match of the second hour, last match of the second hour going into the third. Get that out of the way. Get your popping circumstances, whatever, ready there. And then focus on how to close out the show. And if one of your marquee matches is featuring Ronda Rousey, then guess what? Make that your closing match. Give fans something happy to go home with. Have them watch Ronda Rousey annihilate Alexa Bliss and close out the show with Ronda being champion. It's a better solution and a better option, a more logical option than closing it with Reigns and Lesnar. And if you want to put Reigns and Lesnar in that last hour, fine, but don't close out the show with them, because you know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is exactly what happened several months ago at Backlash. You're going to have fans walking out of the match because they don't want to see it. They don't want to see Reigns in the main event. You put Reigns as the third to last match on the card, or second to last match on the card, or even right at the beginning of that fourth hour, fans will appreciate it better, because at least that way they don't have to sit through this crap or sit through what they as Gabriel and Iglesias said, fluffy if you will, they won't have to worry about watching another Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match close out the show. You know why fans went too hypocritical when they did Brock and Lesnar in the middle of the Greatest Royal Rumble? Because you got it out of the way. You got that steel cage match out of the way and done. You got it out of the way and out the window. That's what they need to do with SummerSlam. They need to structure it to where if you're going to crown Reigns as champion, fine, but do it in the middle of the show. Don't do it as the closing match. You're going to close out the show. You either close it with Daniel and The Miz, AJ or Joe, or Alexa and Ronda. Makes more sense. That's what you need to do. And structure, and basically, element-wise, story element-wise, you need to have things happen on the show that's going to get people talking. You need to have moments happen on here that'll get them talking. Maybe they don't see coming. You know, a lot of people are saying, well, Charlotte Flair is becoming the Roman Reigns of the women's division. You know, why don't you just turn her heel because you know fans are going to boo her in Brooklyn. That might be true. Or you do the unexpected and you turn Becky heel. You basically have her get into the match, whack Charlotte in the back with a chair, then probably knock down Carmella, put Carmella into the disarmer, and that's it. And then when Charlotte's kind of surprised by how Becky did it, have Charlotte be like, you know what, you did what you had to do, extend the hand, then you have Becky turn on her, and that will get people talking because you're taking the fiery redhead that people love and turn her against the fans and her friends. It would get people talking. That's a moment. So overall, in closing, like I said, WWE needs to structure SummerSlam correctly. This is not a predictions video. It's just an advice video of how WWE needs to structure SummerSlam. They need to structure it to where you have the people's attention from beginning to end, and you don't chance that people are going to walk out. Because the last thing you need is photos floating on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter of Barclays Center being half empty as soon as Brock and Lesnar begins. You don't need any more beat the traffic chants or anything. You need to keep people seated in there from beginning to end, and you need to do it by structuring your card correctly. So, that's all I'm going to say, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. Talk to y'all later.